Hey everybody, it's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another Bondy Blue show. Just want y'all to know I love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. To the people that gave to my PayPal, Miss Tony, thank you so much. To the people who gave to my Cash App, let's go ahead and just go through it just to be, to let everybody know I appreciate them so much. Javon, Trinitra, Miss Zorlene, Chaucetta, Nijma. I hope it's Naima. I don't know. I'm pronouncing that wrong. But Miss Olsen, okay? Valena Pierre. I hope I probably said it wrong. Laura P. Jackson. And of course, always my girl Trishina. So yeah, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. Y'all don't know. This little month has been difficult. It's been tough. All right. So I needed it. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk. I'm going to piss y'all off first. Let's talk about Fantasia. I had to start over this part because I felt like I was going on too long and I felt like my stream of consciousness was all over the place. So I'm going to try to streamline this for y'all. I'm going to start off by talking about Fantasia. This might upset some of y'all. I totally agree with Fantasia. I agree with Fantasia and I'm going to tell y'all why. If you are going to be in a heterosexual relationship, woman and man, you need to understand that this world has created what they feel like men should be like. And no matter how y'all relationship dynamic works, when they go out into the world, that is what is expected of them. Period. Women, it's the same thing of us. No matter what anybody says, no matter how we live our lives, we are still expected to be nurturers. We are still expected to be the one that does certain things in the household. And you can totally fight against that if you want to, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, when the man is given, the physical strength and the woman is given the emotional and mental strength, that means that we're supposed to come together and work together with our respective strengths to create comfortable and idealistic lives for ourselves. That does not mean that some man gets to beat on you, disrespect you, make you work, just basically make you submit to him in an abusive way. That is not what any of this means. I am not in an abusive relationship, but I submit to my husband. And I need for y'all to understand this. My mother raised me in such a way which I always lift my mom up as much as I can, because I feel like my mom gave me a perfect example of how to be a strong black woman who is independent and don't need no damn body, but got a husband that was so on point with the way he handled business and the way he took care of his family that she had no problem submitting to him. Also, she was raised in a 2-parent household, so she understands this as well. My grandmother, the personalities, for instance, my grandmother's personality was much bigger than my grandfather's. My grandfather was the quiet, strong type, but he was still our grandfather and seen as the head of the household, even though that if Marcel had a problem with something, it wasn't going to go down, okay? But we still felt like our grandfather was the head of household, even though our grandmother ran shit. But I need for people to understand that she also submits to him, because you can't be down your husband. You know what I'm saying? Like the same thing with my mom and my father. You cannot be so strong that you don't let your man be a man or feel like a man. And I know that there's so much toxic masculinity attached to that statement, but that's not what it is. And I'm going to use my dad as an example, because I feel like even though he had his issues, he was the most, unmisogynistic type of person. He always wanted my mom to work and do whatever she wanted to do. He always made sure that I knew I should take care of myself, not depend on a man, okay? But if I were to find a good thing, then obviously their relationships showed me what submission was. When I was growing up, I used to be like, Mom, why you always, agree? Why you always do this? Why you always do that? I didn't get it as a young woman. I did not understand it. And I feel like people in my family didn't understand it. But at the end of the day, my mom is still taken care of to this day because of the type of person my father was. Okay? So when you have a man like that, you have to give him room. You have to back away and let him control things. We all know at the end of the day, okay, who really controls it, okay? We all know, but you gotta let your man, control some things, because in this world, he is expected to be the head of a household. So you can't have him at home, beat him down, complain about everything. Like, you have to chill out. Submission means chill out. And I saw a lot of women who are married totally get it. They get it. And their statement a lot of the time is, at first I didn't understand, but my man had to tell me and make me understand to let him take some of the load. And I feel like because we've been trained to be strong women and all of that, we put so much on ourselves. And I had to learn this in my own relationship, but I also had to feel safe to do that. And that took a minute, but I always looked at my husband and had complete, even when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, I always trusted him. So once you trust somebody, even if it takes a while, you will eventually be able. I wanted to relinquish the all of the control. Please handle some of this. I'm tired. Take it, okay? Like, please, all right? But at the end of the day, when he's going through something, when he needs me to lift him up and let him know how great he is and make this home comfortable and a place of peace for him, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure I've given him everything I can give him. So when he goes out into that world dealing with whoever he has to deal with, he can stand on his own 2 feet knowing that somebody at home got his back. And at the end of his day, when he comes home, this place will be comfortable. He will have food. He will have alcohol. Whatever he needs, okay? But then I have the same thing. You know what I'm saying? When I was going out working all the time and he might have been home more than I was, I expected a certain type, of situation. And yes, in a marriage, it don't always be what you want it to be. But ultimately, women don't get it sometimes because they haven't seen it. They haven't seen their father be the head of their household, and their mom, sometimes be like, girl, you gotta go ask your daddy, or I'm gonna let your daddy handle that. She could handle it, but she don't want to. Okay? But from Fantasia's standpoint about the gender roles, it's because of how men have been bred to feel and think, and what they need to be in the world versus what they need to be in the home. Okay, so what I'm saying is I understand where she's coming from, because in her traditional relationship, that is exactly how things work and how they need to work in order for everybody to be okay. It does not diminish the queen, but it needs to be said that you cannot be in a relationship. You can find a man all you want to, but you won't be able to keep him if you beating him down with your words, if you don't let him ever make a decision for y'all, if you don't let him do things because you have to be in control, if you always have to handle everything in your relationship. Like, first of all, if the person isn't telling you to let them handle it, then you need to let them go, okay? Because this isn't for everybody. You don't need to submit to everybody, okay? Let me be very clear about that. Some of you niggas don't deserve it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel, once again, I feel like I've gone on too long with this conversation, but I feel like there were a lot of things that needed to be said about what she was saying. And I looked at her husband, Kendall. They've been married for 4 years. And he's the one that asked her for the prenup, meaning, make sure you get a prenup, because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm only with you because you're Fantasia. Okay, so I feel like there's something to be said for that. I heard him talk, and I understand exactly what they mean. There is give and take in this, but if you don't get it, it's probably because you haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen it, then you don't know what it means when you can let a man be a man and just just relinquish the control, or let whoever your partner is, like, just take control of a situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember being in relationships with women. One of the great loves of my life or whatever, she was still even though I'm type A, she obviously was the person that needed to handle things in a certain way. She was calmer. She was very articulate with the way that she spoke. She was very strong in the way that she dealt with people. She was a likable person. Like, to me, I understood why she needed to handle a lot of things. And I let her do that and gave her the space to do that. And I submitted to her. Okay? So I need y'all to understand that it's not necessarily about sex or gender. But in Fantasia's situation, I think that's exactly how it's supposed to work, okay? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But let's just go ahead and move on because I've been talking about it too long, y'all. These lights is hot. It's hot. All right, y'all, mess. Let's talk about Wendy Williams. So, yeah, Wendy Williams been doing a lot lately. She had her interview with Nene Leakes. There's some speculation that there's some show that might be coming from that. Who knows? They're friends again. Great. She's also back friends again with Tamar, and Tamar was on the show. And Tamar made a comment about The Real because Wendy said, it's a cute little show and everything, but they need you. And she was like, oh, girl, thank you. And another thing, Tamar coming out there in the Spanx, and you can actually see like the indentation of her like stomach muscle. I was like, girl, get out of my face. Coming out there in them damn Spanx. What's wrong with you? Put on a dress. Ain't nobody ask you to put on, they're called skater dresses. Find them. But you did not need to come out in Spanx like that. I was like, what is she doing? But, you know, y'all let these girls go everywhere in them damn unitards looking like wrestlers. And now she feels like she can come out in Spanx. I don't have time for that. But anyway, she made a comment about the girls from The Real saying that she didn't want to be a marketing tool for them in their 6th season. And I guess that was about the fact that Lonnie said on the show, hey, Tamar, you want to come back to the show? You want to have a conversation on camera? We can totally do that. Okay, so Tamar said, when all you know and felt is hurt, you hurt. Self-inflicted and to others are included. From my sisters, the ladies of The Real, Iyanla, old and new friends, and whomever else I ever hurt from being hurt, please forgive me. So you apologized to them, right? Since then, I guess it's been deleted. But she apologized. And then Lonnie responded saying, hey, you apologize. If you want to come on the show and we can just kind of bring this full circle, we can do that. So now she's on Wendy talking about, I don't want to be a marketing tool, but you said you had apologized. Now, Lonnie Love made a good point that I was just doing the same thing that Wendy did. Her and Nene were beefed out. She brought Nene on the show so that they can discuss that they are back cool again and then, you know, discuss her life, whatever. But it was still the same thing as what Lonnie was trying to do with Tamar. So then Tamar gets on Wendy and acts as if that never happened. So I'm looking at Tamar like, what's happening here, sis? And then there's the barrage of back and forth that happened between Lonnie. And Lonnie kept it cute and classy the entire time. When Lonnie addressed them on the show, she said, first of all, we may be cute, but we're Emmy Award winning without Tamar, okay? Now, I personally feel like sometimes that show needs a little extra, but they're doing great. They're doing just fine without her. And I also feel like sometimes she can be so over the top that it's aggravating. So that wasn't the place. That wasn't the time. And that's just perfectly fine that, you know, she had to move on without that. And she said that herself. But for her to say that she didn't want to be a marketing ploy or a tool or whatever, that was shade. So then you started it, okay? Like you started it. Lonnie saying, come on the show, let's talk about it, let's make up on the show. It's not a bad thing. I don't feel like, okay? But Tamar decided to release these text messages between her and a friend, where the friend was saying that Lonnie was writing letters to get Tamar fired or taken off the show. Lonnie says that that's not what happened. She didn't write any letters. Where are these letters? Tamar said, when the guilt settles, Lonnie cut the BS. Thanks, Wendy, my sister, for having me. You may not have an Emmy yet, but the girls are surely watching. Anyway, back to my transformation. And then Todrick Hall, who is, I guess, a friend of hers, saying, praying this passes soon. I love you and your talent and personality are so immense. We need to be roommates and take each other's phones away from each other when we're about to post things we may regret. So Todrick was saying, sis, you're doing too much, go sit down somewhere, okay? And then here comes Tamar's response to Todrick. Brother, well, Lonnie shouldn't have been stalking me and Wendy today. First of all, like, stalking, stop it. If Lonnie is stalking y'all because she saw y'all on TV, then you stalking The Real because you saw Lonnie ask you to come on the show. Girl, get out of my face with this. She says, I've said nothing mean about them, nor they dusty ass show. That is something mean, but whatever. She should have just left me the fuck alone. It's too much. I'm tired of her lying and me taking it no more. Everyone who knows me knows I'm not thinking about them and wish them well. They should have sat this one out. Period. And then Lonnie says, you know, ain't nobody got time for all of this. Life is too short. Like, you could be mad. I'm not mad. Whatever. Okay, that was Lonnie's response. Lonnie kept it really cute. And by Lonnie keeping it really cute, it made Tamar look even stupider. I don't know if it's, you know, the bipolarism that people suspect that she has, but you apologized. You felt that you were in fault at one point, and now we get to this point, and you're sitting up here trying to grandstand and act like they're being messy and you're not. You're making comments. You're making a big deal out of it. You're making it seem like Lonnie is coming at your neck when she actually was not at all. So I feel like Tamar is once again doing what Tamar does. Doing the fucking most. It's just that nowadays she's doing it under I'm getting my life together. And it's like, well, get it together, bitch, but stop telling us about it until you've gotten it together. And then Wendy and Iggy Azalea. So Wendy was talking about how nobody's gonna care about Nicki Minaj if she decides to disappear for too long. So it's like, take a break, but don't be too long, okay? Because, like, you know, people's attention spans these days. Now, honestly, the barbs will always be, you know, ready and waiting for Nicki to come back. So, you know, Wendy always has some dumb shit to say. We're gonna get into even more of those things. This is not the last Wendy story. But she made a comment about Iggy being the Australian girl who's done all that surgery to her body. Then Iggy responded with, why would anybody be worrying about what a crackhead from a halfway house said, or something like that. It was something along those lines. She mentioned crackhead, halfway house, but we get what you're trying to put down, Iggy. Iggy, honey, you have gotten too much surgery. You really did feel self-conscious and didn't really have much self-confidence after that first album came out. You let people bully you to the point that when you finally did come back after the Nick Young breakup, you had tweaked and turned your face. Okay, you know, I don't care what you're talking about, which was so unnecessary. Iggy was already a very pretty girl to me. We know she had, you know, done stuff to her ass. There's no way. Like, get out of here. You're from Australia? There's no way. So I feel like she's already done stuff to her body, and then that just continued with her face later on. So we're sorry, Iggy, if you got upset by Wendy pointing out the absolute obvious, but it is obvious. You have done it. And to then try to call her a crackhead and all of that, you just want some attention. Go sit down somewhere, Iggy. Go sit down somewhere. If you don't want nobody pointing out your surgeries, don't make them so drastic. Point blank to the period. Now let's go ahead and talk about Wendy versus Christie Brinkley and the girls from The Talk, because they were upset. Sharon and Cheryl, they were upset, saying that, you know, Wendy comes with such a deep place in her heart, such a dark place, that she would say this about Christie Brinkley, who's so sweet, and, you know, going on and on and on about Wendy being terrible for saying that she thinks that Christie Brinkley faked her wrist and shoulder injury on Dancing with the Stars so that her daughter could take her place. And let me just go ahead and say this to y'all. I don't think it was the nastiest thing to say about somebody. I don't think it's the nastiest thing that Wendy has said about anybody. Like, saying that I think that she faked the fall, she faked the break so that she can give her daughter some camera time. Apparently her daughter, Sailor Brinkley Cook, is a Sports Illustrated model. But Wendy felt that nowadays, the girls need more than that. When you have the Kendall Jenners of the world, it takes more than just being pretty to get attention as a model. You have to have cachet, as Wendy put it. And once Wendy explained it, I totally understood why she said what she said. From Christie Brinkley's standpoint, she feels like she's been such a good friend to Wendy. Wendy has called on her for support several times, even recently with her divorce. So Christie doesn't understand why you coming at me sideways. Okay, why are you coming at me sideways talking about you know, lying about my injury if we cool, all right? And honestly, I feel like because it's Wendy's job. Because it's Wendy's job to point out how she feels, regardless to whether we are cool or friends or not. When I sit in this purple chair, what I see is what I see, what I say is what I say. And I totally understand that. That's the position she has to take. And when you decide to be friends with Wendy, you need to understand that. That if a story comes out about you and she doesn't believe your account of it, she will say that on her show. Now, if I was Christie Brinkley, I wouldn't even cared that much. I'd have been like, okay, Wendy, like, I would have laughed it off. Because, like, What is this gonna do to Christie Brinkley exactly? Nothing. So the way Sharon and Cheryl was going off and their feelings, now I heard that Cheryl was actually upset about something else that had happened. So I'm not really gonna speak too much on what Cheryl was saying, but I heard what Sharon was saying, and I feel like, Sharon, please stop. Y'all just wanted somebody to pay attention to y'all show. Y'all were drudging this up because y'all realized that Wendy is hella hot right now, and anybody that talks to Wendy or has dealings with Wendy is in the blogs the next day. Okay, so I think this was this, drumped up shit for their show. Cause come on now, y'all all do the same thing. Y'all all sit there and talk about people and speculate about what y'all think is going on behind the scenes. Like that's what everybody is doing on daytime talk. So please, like spare me the self-righteousness, Sharon. Okay, now y'all may not go as deep as Wendy goes, but I feel like y'all have y'all audience and Wendy has hers, and Wendy's audience wants the tea. Okay, they don't want people who are in Hollywood so much that they're not going to give their honest opinions out of fear of pissing off their Hollywood friends. And to me, the talk girls are saying that that's what they expect of Wendy in so many words. And Wendy is like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and say I feel like she lying. Y'all, when I saw that picture of the daughter, I felt the same way Wendy did. I said, Christy girl, you probably did do this so that your daughter can get a little bit more shine on Dancing with the Stars. And if you know it's true, why even speak about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, looking at that daughter, I was like, oh, she was primed and ready. She been rehearsing the whole time. like that. Like, get out of here. Like, I don't know why, but when I saw and read what Wendy was saying, I felt like, first of all, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I also felt like it could possibly be true. Like, it makes sense the way she explained it. But if it's not true, it's not true. But it's not like she said you did something illegal. Like, who cares? Like, oh Lord, the way Sharon was going in, you're so black in your heart. And it's like, oh Lord, did we say you were faking it when you went through your divorce? And it's like, no, but we definitely said that she was on drugs when she passed out on that Halloween episode. People have constantly been speculating if Wendy is telling the truth, if Wendy is back on drugs. Like, people speculate about that all the time. So yes, you may not have, but other people have. So look, whatever. Okay, look, I ain't even been watching Wendy's show lately, but all of this has made me have to go watch and find out what everybody is up in arms about. Christie Brinkley, I know you said that she need to just be nice and all of that, but it's not that big of a deal. Next. Okay, so let's discuss Tekashi69. Tekashi69 is singing like a canary, telling everybody's story, okay? Telling everybody business. So let me just say this, because I saw Pat Pooh's post about you don't snitch. You don't snitch, okay, no matter what. And I'm gonna just tell y'all this is a new day and age. These kids don't feel like that no more. And if you a real one and you still in gangs, like, let's not even like delve into whatever the mental psyche is for 40-something-year-old men, 50-something-year-old men to still be like doing gang shit. Like, let's not even get into like what that's about. Y'all need therapy. Never mind. Moving on. I don't want to make anybody upset. Okay. But let's just be real about it. Okay. That comes from a place of dysfunction that y'all refuse to see or work through because you've been raised in it and you probably have nothing else. It's all you know. I'm not blaming you. I'm just stating what I see as facts. Okay. But if you were a real one and you are a part of, what is it? Trey 9. That's the name of their specific chapter of the Bloods. Their chapter, okay? You should have known that Daniel Hernandez was not going to go down for you. You should have known that. So whoever in the gang decided to use Tekashi69 to get on and to get more money and get more popular, guess what, boo? This is your fault. This is your fault. We knew from the jump that he wasn't made for this. I remember seeing the video of him calling that hit out on Chief Keef. I remember watching that video. I was like, is he really having this conversation on camera? And I remember feeling like, these niggas are stupid. I cannot. And then a lot of the reason why he was forced into this position is because they were having all of these conversations over the phone. And they were tapped. Why are y'all having these conversations over the phone? What's wrong with y'all? I'm just saying, like, this is all like gangster 101. You had them conversations in person. You don't have those conversations over the phone. Or you have those conversations on burner phones that can't be tapped. But you don't have conversations about illegal shit on regular cell phones. That is stupid. So first of all, us even getting to this point, I blame Treyway, Trey9, and all the little dumb niggas in their clique that thought that it was a smart move to put him in the mix in that way. We all know that when the rappers get backed by certain gangs, a lot of the times those people get jumped in, they go through, whatever you got to go through. But once they get to a certain level of stardom, y'all just play it back. Y'all don't get them involved in bullshit because y'all need to keep that money coming in. I don't know what's wrong with Trey9. Apparently they didn't get that memo, okay? They did all of this illegal stuff around and with him and then decided to have sex with his old lady, threaten his mom and kid, kidnap him, threaten to kill him, extort money from him, and y'all old heads is out here, and I take myself out of this. I am an old head, but I take myself out of this because I think that's stupid. You want me to take 15, 20, 5, I wouldn't take no time. No time for some dudes that did me like that. I'm sorry, but there is no loyalty when there is no loyalty. You don't be loyal to people that's not loyal to you. You don't be loyal to people who threaten to kill you, okay? Now, when we all in this together and one of us get popped, you supposed to stay quiet the entire 72 hours. Don't say a word. Where's my lawyer? Get my lawyer. And no matter how many times they come in there to talk to you, you don't say nothing. Where's my lawyer? Lawyer. That's all you should be saying anytime they talk. Lawyer. Where's my lawyer? Like, until you can talk to your lawyer and he can tell you exactly what you need to do, lawyer. Where's the lawyer? You here, I don't see a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how many episodes of SVU or Criminal Intent. I don't know how many of them you watch. I've watched a lot of them. I'm looking for my lawyer. This is obviously not that type of situation, okay? They were trying to kill him. What did y'all expect him to do? Like, that didn't make any sense to me for people to expect him to be loyal to some dudes that was not loyal to him. I also feel like all them dudes was dumb. They got y'all dead to rights because y'all constantly running y'all mouths and filming everything. And that's one part of it. But let's go ahead and get into him and Jim Jones and Cardi B. Okay, so let's read, because that's what this story is specifically about, but I wanted to go ahead and cover some things before we got into that. They've been leaking stuff like his kidnapping and all of that type of stuff, where they, got him out the back of a car. He thought he was going to die, all of that. You can hear the fear in his throat and everything. But I don't care about your fear because I knew that you wasn't really about this life. People who are really about this life take this going to jail shit seriously, and y'all did not. But now Treyway won't be crying and all of that after getting the 15 years, and it's like, well, your dumb ass should have known better. What OG taught you? They failed you, okay? Tekashi continues to make headlines as he is naming well-known persons who are allegedly Bloods during the third day of testimony. The 23-year-old jail rapper stated that rappers Jim Jones and Cardi B are in the gang. A rep for Cardi has denied these claims. Girl, pish posh. Your homegirl was just online like what, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Your best friend, the one I think I don't know if she's still friends with that girl. No, she's still friends with her. She's not friends with the other girl who was supposed to be her manager because she was stealing money. But I think that other girl is still her like best friend or whatever. But either way, she talked about the fact that Cardi was in the gang. Okay, she spoke on that in her podcast or whatever she was doing, and Cardi has said it. And as I posted on my Twitter, Cardi wears a whole bunch of red. You can't say no words with the C in it, even though your name is Cardi. We out here saying, every other word that starts with a C with a B in the front. We all know what that means. We all know what that means. She did that on Love and Hip Hop. Like, we all know that Cardi is in a gang, and we all know that Jim is in a gang. They're not in the same set of the Bloods as 6ix9ine is, but this is not new information for anybody. So, is it really snitching if it's information that they've already put out on themselves? Like, I'm just saying, Jim just goes about things in a certain way, so maybe Jim is different, but Jim shouldn't have been having conversations on the phone like he did. And that is where he got himself in that mix. Stop having these conversations over the phone. Like, oh my God. As prosecutors were about to play a recording of a phone conversation, 6ix9ine was asked to identify voices on it. He said one of them belonged to Jim Jones, who he called a retired rapper. Mind you, Jim Jones just came out with an album in May. And said, so that was shade, and said was a member of the gang. In the wiretapped phone call on November 17th, Jones and Jamel Mel Murder Jones discussed their anger at Tekashi's comments denouncing the Bloods comments during a radio interview on Power 105. Jamel Jones says Tekashi should be super violated, super duper. Jones stated, tell that nigga he not a gang member no more. He kicked out the whip. He was never a gang member. They going to have to violate Shorty because Shorty is on some bullshit. He also noted that Casanova, who I like, was a Blood and a rival crew. While discussing Casanova, he described a gun battle between 9 Treys and Casanova's crew at the Barclays Center in April 2018. Tekashi stated that he cut a deal with prosecutors the day after his arrest, agreeing to testify against his former confidants in exchange for avoiding a 47-year prison sentence. He is currently being housed in federal facility for his own safety and has been escorted into the courthouse through a secure tunnel flanked by U.S. Marshals. Prosecutors have previously suggested that he could be moved into witness protection after his testimony. He gonna have to be. And of course, Cardi B replied and said that she was in Brim, not in Trey 9 or whatever. Basically saying, I wasn't in that part of the gang. I was in this part of the gang. And then she deleted that because her people told her, bitch, you have money now. Stop it. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention in the video about Cardi B is that the prosecutors were probably trying to get information on Cardi when they asked Tekashi about her involvement in the gang because of Jade. Jade is Tekashi69's girlfriend. She's also the girl who was in that club brawl with Cardi B allegedly. You guys might recall that last year, I think it might have been in December, Cardi B was under legal fire for missing a court date because of what was going on with Jade and Batty G. So Jade and Batty G, who also made an appearance in Nicki Minaj's Good Form video, okay, just to let you know, like, there might be a lot of animosity going on here. I've also heard Nicki Minaj go in, defend Jade and Batty G and how Cardi messed those girls, careers up and all of this type of stuff. Cardi thought that they were possibly messing around, texting, whatever, with her husband, Offset. So she then sends some of the homeboys, some of the homegirls, but it was mainly men, to act the fool with those girls on their job and throwing bottles and all of this stuff. So y'all know that Cardi has had that case pending for a while. And I believe the prosecutors were trying to link those cases. If they get evidence that Cardi B is involved in the gang, they could possibly have more to fight with when it comes to this Jade and Batty G situation, which is why she was probably told to take down her saying which set she was in. But Jim didn't actually say that he was going to violate him. He just said he should be violated. But, they can't really go after Jim Jones for none of this stuff. Like, none of this stuff that was actually said. Now, they can start paying more closely attention to him. But I would hope that he would be smart and stop having these really illegal conversations over the phone. Like, just please stop, okay? But either way, I feel like everybody involved is responsible for their own demise, okay? Tekashi is responsible for his own demise. They're going to have to put him in protective custody because ain't nobody going to let that man live once he out. But let's be very clear that all y'all was cool with repping him when it was about this money, when it was about the publicity. It was all about him being a cash cow or being somebody that they could, take a picture with and now people paying attention who may not have been paying attention. 50 Cent, Jim Jones, all y'all, okay? Y'all throw up y'all gang signs and pictures and shit. Like, y'all do shit and think ain't nobody watching y'all out here. They are. How many times do people have to put in songs, the fans is watching? What's wrong with y'all? Stop being stupid. But that's this new generation of record everything, okay? Because had he not recorded everything or had all of these conversations on the phone like smart gangsters do, they wouldn't have had any real evidence to hold him to the fire for. But they did because they sloppy. And it is what it is. So that's my thoughts on it, okay? And let's go ahead and move on. So lastly, y'all, Kenya Moore and husband Mark Daly split 2 years of marriage. First of all, they weren't even living in the same household. So the fact that that move had never been made me feel like something was wrong, okay? I also feel like Kenya hasn't dealt with her issues enough for her to be able to have a healthy relationship with a man. I feel like she got the baby out of the situation. That's what she wanted out of the situation. I'm not mad at her about that. I think she really did try. But I feel like Kenya has things about her as a person that any man, I'm just going to tell y'all, ain't going to be able to deal with for too long. All right? Kenya really needed to work on herself more before she found the man that she was gonna be with, okay? And also, I feel like something ain't right about him neither. Like, his energy never felt loving towards her to me. His energy never felt like it's all about Kenya. It never felt like that to me with him. So I feel like this is, you know, obviously a breakdown on both of their parts. I'm sad to see it happen. I really wanted Kenya to have her happily ever after, but you can't have your happily ever after if you don't do the work on yourself. And that's just what it is, okay? Now, apparently, their breakup was caught on camera by the Bravo camera, so big. I can't wait for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I hope I'll see y'all for every review bit, okay? And lastly, y'all, I'm going to just talk about it because a lot of people were bringing it up. Actually, Darby has not been released from Real Housewives of Potomac, as far as I know. Okay, I contacted one of my contacts over there, and they was like, you know, they did the table, you know, they did the little reading. They all meet at the table or whatever to look at the script. And she was still at the table. Y'all, Ashley is too good for television. Michael Darby and Ashley are too good for television in order for them to let them go. I don't think they would. I know y'all think that what happened last year was so scandalous, but apparently from what Alex tells me, the shit on Beverly Hills has been much worse, which I need to go watch them on Hulu and catch up on whatever that drama is before Garcelle Bouvet gets on there for the next season. But yeah, what I heard was Ashley is very much still a part of the show. I don't know where those rumors came from, but my source is reliable. So if you've heard otherwise, tell me how you know that. And then we can compare information and I can go back to my source like, wait, I heard, you know, somebody said this, but I'm trusting my source, period. All right, y'all, that's it. That's all. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You know, once again, thank you everyone who supported. Thank you to all my bonbons, my Patreons, my members. I love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting your girl's channel and my content and making my dream a realization. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Please have a good weekend. Please enjoy your life as much as you possibly can. I'm sending you all the wonderful vibes in the world, okay? Sending them good vibes. Feel good. Be good. See you in the next one.